are just 1 hour, less than 1 hour, 2 days, and just under 1 hour away from the NFL draft starting. So it's time. We're here. Are we going to get some trades? Who knows? Maybe during the draft. I don't know. But we are here. We finally get to know where some of these guys are going to go. We'll see after the first round. I don't know. I'd be happy with maybe, let's say, 8, more than 7 guys. If we had more than 7 fantasy relevant guys, I think I'd be pretty happy. So, anyways, are you excited for the draft? We got James here. We got Idle here.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wonder, heard the rumor this morning that teams were calling the Browns and the Giants there for picks 2 and 3, for possible trade ups, and I'm thinking,
for who?
Yeah, well, who are you trading up for? I don't know.
I mean, it would have to be Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, I guess.
I guess
that would be who they're doing it for. I mean, you're not trading up for Shedeur Sanders or something, or so.
I'm not feeling the vibe on the trade up, so I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I heard. I also heard teams are calling about Kirk Cousins, and Atlanta is saying, well, if you pay $20 million of his $47 million, I guess, or $45 million or whatever it is, pay $20 million of that, yeah, you can have them. It's like, I guess teams are going like, what the fuck? Like, I ain't paying that.
Just wait till I don't know if they'll cut him or not, but they'll just be the most expensive backup ever.
He's got a no trade clause too, so if they try to dump him on somebody, I mean, they were even speculating, I don't know, like going back to Minnesota. I don't know why they're not giving J.J. McCarthy, Rodgers to Minnesota, and Kirk Cousins back there. I don't know. I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen. Give the guy a chance. Let the coach do his thing, and so.
Yeah, for sure. But we are doing a rookie mock draft here. If you guys want to hop in, we're using landing spots, the latest PFF 7-round mock draft. And that's the landing spots we're using. We'll go over some of those, but yeah, go ahead and hop in here. Link is already in the description or in the chat there. So would love to get at least half full or so. We're gonna go live today. We're gonna go live tomorrow, and then for Thursday and Friday after the draft. After round 1, after round 3 on Friday. So this is kind of our second to last. Doing a rookie mock without really knowing where most of these players are going to go. So it's a little bittersweet. I like making draft content, and then it comes and it's gone, and we can still talk about it for a couple of weeks, but then, that's all. So, but let's go over some of these landing spots here. This is the world we are living in. Of course, we have Cam Ward to the Titans. And then we have the Browns taking Shedeur Sanders, not Travis Hunter. So Shedeur Sanders is going to the Browns, 2nd overall. Travis Hunter is a Giant. I wonder how that affects how people feel about him and playing wide receiver. Ted McMillan is a Raider. Tyler Warren is a Jet. Emeka Ibuka, about as high as you'll see him be mocked at least, 12th overall to the Cowboys. Ashton Genty falls outside the top 10 to the Dolphins, pick 13. So that's going to make some people a little nervous there. Amarion Hampton is a Bronco. And I talked about this exact situation saying, what if Hampton goes like 20th to the Broncos or 22nd to the Chargers and Genty falls to a team that we're not super excited about? Does that potentially make Ashton Genty or Mario and Hampton, the number one pick. We'll see. Luther Burden is a Saint, first round draft capital. Colston Loveland is a Ram. Interesting there. Matthew Golden, Chargers trade back up into the first round and get Matthew Golden. I think he pairs pretty well with, as we have 2-run home run by the Padres. Matthew Golden is a Charger. Jalen Milroe, a Giant. Alec Eilmanor, a Titan. Jaden Higgins, a Patriot. Johnson is a Bear. Jalen Royals, a Bronco. Trey Harris, a Packer. Elijah Arroyo, a Charger. Travion Henderson, a Texan. Jack Besh, a Commander. Into the third round, we have Jalen Knoll as a Brown. Mason Taylor, a Jag. Jackson Dart, a Dolphin. Quinchon Judkins, a Raider. Xavier Restrepo, a Panther. Dylan Sampson, a Patriot. Kyle Williams, a Viking. RJ Harvey, a Steeler. A lot of third-round picks. Damian Martinez is a Brown. Cam Scattaboo is a Chief. DJ Giddens is a Viking. Savion Williams is a Seahawk. We'll do the fourth round and then let you guys check out the rest of it. But we have Terrence Ferguson on the Patriots. Devin Neal, a Jag. Isaac Tesla, he's been getting talked about quite a lot. Isaac Tesla to Buffalo. Isaiah Bond, a 49er. Gunnar Helm to the Colts. Tez Johnson to the Broncos. Ty Felton to the Jags. Harold Finn Jr. is a Saint. Jaden Blue is a Commander. Kyle Manungai, a Raven. Trevor Etienne, a Bill. And Torrey Orton, a Chief. And Will Howard, a Seahawk. I like this because there's a lot of names that we normally don't see go this high. Guys like Manungai, Trevor Etienne, Isaac Tesla. So gives us a little bit different perspective here. So then you guys can check out the rest of it. I sent you the link in the chat. Some notable names, Bashal Tootin falls to the 6th round. I think that's about it. Ollie Gordon is a 7th round pick to the Lions. So yeah, we'll check that out and we'll do some mocks here. We only got about 4 people in. We'll give it a couple more minutes, see if anyone else wants to join. If not, we'll do it here. I know we're a little bit earlier than our normal time here. So, but yeah, any Ashton Genty there. I want to get your opinion because no one's at the 101. So are you taking Ashton Genty to the Broncos? To the Dolphins. Amarion Hampton to the Broncos, or I guess Cam Ward to the Titans. Who are you taking at the 101 if Genty falls to the Dolphins there?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the 101.
No, I'm asking who would you take at the 101?
I'd take the running back, obviously.
Well, who though? Genty or Hampton? I'm saying Hampton goes to the Broncos, and Genty goes to the Dolphins. I mean, Broncos is a better spot.
Yeah, I think I think they know how to use I think they got a pretty good running game down there in Miami. So, the team's a little, it's kind of like a make it or break it type year, but that doesn't mean Genty's gonna suck or anything. So I think I would stick with that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think I'm going to shake things up here if no one takes the 101 here. We'll give it just a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. We have Voa. I don't know if I recognize you, Voa. I don't know if I've seen you in here before, but welcome. Make sure to hit the like button, guys, on the video. Subscribe, of course, if you're not subscribed, as we inch our way to 1,300 subscribers, and join the Discord. We're doing a giveaway after the first round of the NFL draft. We're going to be live, reacting, of course, and we're going to give away a free team review. We're going to draw a name. All you have to do is join our Discord. Link is in the chat there. Join the Discord, go down to giveaway, leave a comment, and you are entered. So I think we have a little over 20 people entered in that. So pretty good odds to win. Pretty good odds to win there. Indeed. If anyone else wants to join now, because we're going to start this bad boy up in just 1 minute. I'm going to make sure I have all the settings right here. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully the draft doesn't take 4 hours to finish. Round 1, that is. the NFL draft. Hopefully, it doesn't take 4 hours to finish.
Well, I think trades are the only thing that makes it longer because everybody's on the it's on the clock. I still don't remember. Yeah, let me see how long.
I thought it was 10 minutes.
Yeah, God, it used to be a number of years ago. It used to be 15, and it was painful.
15 is a lot, yeah.
You know,
15 is a lot.
good old Mel Kiper's been doing drafts for 42 years.
Yeah, he's kind of the pioneer of it, mock drafts and stuff.
Yeah, he was definitely the first one.
Yep.
Did the draft
We're gonna get
start?
Yep, I started it. We're gonna get it started here. Actually, I want to change it to just give everyone time to look at the mock draft. But I'm gonna change it up here. I'm gonna go Amarian Hampton. I don't think it's crazy to think that Amarian Hampton can go over Ashton Genty. They're not that far apart in picks, and Hampton gets a better landing spot. So would I do that in a real draft? I'm not sure, but I want to see how it works. Here. So maybe for James there, he gets a pretty nice Ashton Genty at the 2 pick there for him. So again, in this mock draft that we went, Hampton went 20th overall to the Broncos, Ashton Genty to the Dolphins, 13th overall. So this is, by the way, I didn't even say the settings. It's a 12-team super flex PPR 1.25 tight end premium. FYI, I should have said that at the top. But yeah, just missed out. We literally just started it, but we'll see how we go later on, how fast this one goes. We see Cam Ward off the board, and then Travion Henderson, which is interesting because Henderson goes to the Texans. It's fine. I think I think Henderson's one of those guys that can definitely. He doesn't need the huge workload, right? The huge workload in order to be successful here. So, and then we see Emeka Egbuka go. It's probably as high as you'll see Emeka Egbuka go, but he also went 12th overall to the Cowboys. So I see why he would go that high. I'll go ahead and take Tyler Warren here. I'll make these picks for the second half. Tyler Warren in a 1.25 tight end premium. I'm going to like that a lot. So I'll go ahead and take him. I think Caleb Johnson has an argument to be made as the third running back off the board because he goes 41st overall to the Bears. Now, there's some running backs that I like a little bit more than Caleb Johnson, but 41st overall to the Bears, it's hard to ignore that, with the hopefully new and improved offense there. Let's go ahead and we'll grab Ted McMillan at the 108 here, going to the Raiders. Who would you pick next year? Would you go Loveland to the Rams? Would you go one of the running backs in the third round? Judkins to the Raiders.
Tight end premium. I'd go Loveland, and he's going to the Rams. They're going to use him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you could definitely make a case for him going a little bit higher. That's for sure. Maybe there shouldn't be that much separation between them. Yeah, man, this is tough. We'll go. I'm going to go my boy Dylan Sampson. No, I'm going to go Dylan Sampson, 3rd round pick. But he goes to the Patriots, and I really like Dylan Sampson as a player, and I'm going to go ahead and take him. I mean, Shedeur Sanders being the 2nd overall pick, hard to see there should be that much. I know we all think Cam Ward's better and all of that, but I don't know. There's a very good chance. I mean, the Browns are saying, well, we think Shedeur Sanders deserves to be, the 2nd overall pick here. So we'll go ahead and grab him, and then I'll go Quinshon Judkins. I don't think we can let him fall too far there. So we'll pause it there and let anyone say what they want about that first round. Any surprises, shocks, anything like that. As we say, Caleb says, if this happened, how low would you think Genty would fall? Are you saying if this happened, Gentry to the Dolphins. I don't think you should really be falling past the number 2 pick. And I mean, and I'm fine with taking him. I might still take him 101, probably would, to be honest. So, I mean, just think about the Dolphins 2 years ago. We saw Mostert and Achane both be awesome for fantasy. Now, Achane, it was, it was big games. It wasn't in, it wasn't the entire season. He got hurt and things like that. But, in terms of points per game, Achane that year was the RB5. Mostert was the RB4 in PPR. So, obviously, a 50-point game for Achane really helps that. But just some thoughts there. Like, I just don't think they want to be giving Achane 20-plus touches a game. Caleb Idle is Caleb, says he'd have a tough time being on board with him, essentially competing with Achane and him taking probably all the passing game. Yeah, once again, like, just go back to what Raheem Mostert did 2 years ago, and obviously Gentry's a way better running back than Mostert. Now the catches are gonna, that's gonna suck. He's not gonna have maybe as many catches as he would on another team, but you saw Raheem Mostert get 230 touches with the Dolphins 2 years ago. So I would expect probably a little bit more for Gentry there.
There's a running back, second-year guy with the Dolphins.
Yeah, Jalen Wright.
Yeah, I wonder how he's gonna how he would fit into that scenario.
Yeah, it's like sorry. That's like sorry for your Jalen Wright shares. That's what that would mean.
Thank you for your service.
Yep. As I went Matthew Golden here, going to the Chargers. I think that's a great fit. Him and Ladd.
I think that would be seemed like it would work out pretty well. A little over the top speed, right?
Yeah, for sure. Marvin's here saying he's trying to trade the 210 and the 26 third for a random 26 second, 304, 22 at one, $25 in fab thoughts, 14-man super flex. So you're trying to trade the 210 and a 26 third for a random 26 second, the 304, 22 at one, $25 in fab. Yeah, I definitely want the random 26 second and the 304 side. I mean, you have to imagine that random 26 second is James. If you're still here, you are on the clock. But yeah, you got to imagine that random 26 second is going to be better than the 210, higher than the 210. The 304 is probably going to be higher than the random 26 third. And then you're getting, Tutu Atwell and $25 in fab. So I think that's a pretty easy take on that side, especially in a 14 team. A 14 teamer there. A lot of underrated wide receivers this year. Almost feels like a value at wide receiver drafting later, but running backs are the hit. Yeah, I think how I see a lot, and I'll make the pick here for James. I guess he had to take off. How I see this kind of draft happening is we'll see if it happens here. But when we do these mock drafts, it seems to be you get a lot of running backs taken, obviously in the first and midway through the second round, and then that pushes some good wide receivers down the board. And then you see a lot of late second, early third picks are wide receivers, and then it circles back to running backs again. So that feels a little bit like how the draft's going to go here. So. In this mock draft, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fantasy relevant players drafted in the first round. That's pretty nice. That is pretty nice if we get that. I'm happy with if we get more than 7 or 8, to be honest. So I'm thinking two QBs, 2 to 3 running backs, 2 to 3 wide receivers, maybe, and then 2 tight ends. So yeah, maybe more, maybe 8, maybe 8.5. If I set the bar at 8.5, are you taking the over or the under of fantasy relevant players taken in this first round?
Well, I think Jackson Dart's going to go in the first round. So
man, I don't know.
Yeah, I think because then if not, he's gonna get scooped up pretty quickly in the second round. I bet, by the Browns or the Giants or somebody like that. So Pittsburgh, I'm thinking Pittsburgh or something like that, or the Saints maybe want to jump back up into the first round, and I don't know. So
Yeah, I mean, been talking a lot about these. Yeah, go ahead.
no, I think I'm going to be a little optimistic and say I'll take the over.
I've been talking a lot about these early second round picks and how I want to stockpile them if possible, and just look at who's going. Like Matthew Golden, first round pick. Travis Hunter, first round pick. Luther Burden, first round pick. Cam Scadaboo is third round pick to the Chiefs. Jalen Milrow, second pick of the second round to the Giants. A rushing quarterback in a super flex league. So a lot of good value there.
The saying for the draft is not a lot of stars, but a lot of starters.
Mm-hmm.
That's the word. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it all shakes out.
I'm a big Jalen Royals fan. You normally don't see him get mocked to the right team, but 51st overall to the Broncos is probably one of the best spots you'll see. He can easily play, second wide receiver alongside Cortland Sutton for another year, and then maybe take over as the number one target on that team potentially. So I really like that. We'll go ahead and grab Elijah Arroyo here, who gets taken by the Chargers in the second round, 55th overall in a tight end premium league. I'm trying to think of what's the story with some of these players? You look at some of these players being drafted, and there's some stories that you can tell about them that's going to increase their value. Damian Martinez goes third round to the Browns. That's pretty nice. I mean, all they have is Jerome Ford there, who they'll still use, but they're going to mix in Damian Martinez there for sure. I mean, Jaden Higgins and Alec Iomanner, I'll take them back to back here. They both go top 40. Jaden Higgins to the Patriots, which we're going to think, oh my God, another freaking Patriots wide receiver in the early second round, or late first, right? They all been busts, but one of them's got to hit, right? One of them's got to hit eventually, you would think. There's a lot of good picks here. I mean, man, I'd actually probably take this guy, dude. I kind of overlooked him a little bit, but Jack Besh, I'd probably take a little bit higher here. Going 61st overall to the Commanders. And that wide receiver room, you're getting Besh, Debo, and Terry McLaurin. That's pretty nice.
Still got the young guy McCaffrey from last year. I mean,
he's on the bench now.
Well, yeah, that's called competition, man. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Let's see. It brings the cream to the crop, or to the top, I guess is the right way to say it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. So let's see here. We got 1, 2, 3. How many? I'm counting right. There's 32 players taken in the first 3 rounds, fantasy relevant players. But that's about a third of the draft, a little bit less than a third of the draft, because you have some comp picks in the third round. It's pretty nice. I don't know what it was last year. I'd have to go back and check, but that's pretty damn nice. I'll go ahead and take RJ Harvey here. He goes to the Steelers. Doesn't feel like a Steelers player, but goes to the Steelers in the third round. He'd probably still split with Warren, but
there's definitely some teams that I'm watching, that I'm going to be watching. Drafting running backs. That's going to lean me, when I get to my fantasy rookie draft, that's going to lean me to taking guys and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
I know. I know a couple of mock drafts ago that we did. Somebody says, "I'm just taking the best guy available." Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that, But
that's what you should do.
Probably,
I mean, everyone that didn't do that. Last year. They took Jonathan Brooks because they needed a running back, and running back was a scarce position last year's draft. And they took him over Brian Thomas Jr. or Ladd McConkey or both of them. Or you're kicking yourself there. He's even guys like Xavier Worthy, So always recommend taking best player available. Like, even if you don't love the landing spot, what was everyone talking about with JSN when he was drafted to the Seahawks? Oh my God, JSN, we hate it. And by year 2, he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And Tyler Lockett's gone and DK Metcalf. When JSN got drafted 2 years ago, we were freaking out about Lockett and Metcalf, and both those guys are not even on the team 2 years later, less than 2 years later. Like, that's how fast the NFL changes, man. And so, even if you don't get a great landing spot, Mason Taylor off the board is a nice pick. Even if you don't get a great landing spot, man, things can just change so damn fast, So, I like the Mason Taylor pick there. Let's see. Marvin says, the trade I asked for, if you didn't have a first, would you consider the other end of the trade? I'd probably pass on the other end. The way I just look at it, again, like 14 team, how many are you starting, Marvin? That's a little important as well, because if you're starting 10, right? If you're starting like 10 players, that's essentially a 12-team start. 12 guys like Tutu Atwell are going to make a difference in that league, right? And so, like, Tutu Atwell is worth something. Now, if it's a 14-team start 8, okay, maybe not quite as much, but I just think the random 26 second, I'd probably take over the 210. Although you can argue that this draft is deeper and we should be taking the 210. So I don't know. If I didn't have a first, I don't hate that first side, but I think I comfortably like the second side there. So,
the thing with Tutu Atwell, I have him on a team, and I've considered, why am I carrying this guy? He has 1 or 2 games fantasy relevant for year, every year or something like that. Not that great. But then what happened was the Rams re-signed him.
Yep.
Before the free agent period, not to let him get out on the street. They re-signed him. Then I heard Sean McVay come out and say, yeah, we haven't really used Tutu Atwell correctly. We're gonna change that. And I'm like, that got my attention. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that dude, for guys who are hanging on to him and thinking like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was like I think it was the fans that kind of like called him out and was just like, why'd you sign this guy to, what was it, 10 million a year or something?
Yeah.
12 million a year. Like,
right.
Why'd you sign him if you haven't used them? He's like, yeah, you're right. I haven't used them properly. So Demarcus Robinson's gone, by the way. So, now you got Devontae Adams and Puka, and Tutu's going to be that third guy, but tells you how valuable speed is. He's a fast guy, and teams are going to value players like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a couple running backs here. We'll go Jaden Blue, who goes to the Commanders. I like Jaden Blue a lot. I think one reason I like Jaden Blue a lot, especially when you get to these late third-round picks, is I think he has a role for a team. Like a lot of guys that are going to be drafted here, they're probably just going to be backups, RB2s, RB3s. That's just the reality of it. Just despite what we think about all these guys and how much we think there's like 40 fantasy relevant guys. Jaden Blue to me has a pass catching role. He's a pretty talented pass catcher out of Texas. And he has that role, in my opinion. Like that's his floor. And then who knows if he's just better than that, if he gets on the field more and stuff like that. So I like taking shots on guys like that. Who else here? Let's go Terrence Ferguson from the
cheat sheet going on here.
Yeah, from the man, I really like Kyle Williams, but going to the Vikings is not great for fantasy. But again, we just talked about it. Things change within a couple of years, so we don't really expect too much to change with the Vikings in the wide receiver room, but you never know, I guess. Kyle Monangai to the Ravens is interesting. Is that like the Justice Hill replacement? Possible. It is possible. I like Brashard Smith. We'll go Brashard Smith going to the Cowboys. I think that's the only running back the Cowboys have taken. So I kind of like that there. And I'm going to turn this on auto pick here for the fourth round here, and we'll let everyone make their picks. Harold Fannin, where did he go? To the Saints? Ooh, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. The league I joined uses fab instead of draft picks. Thoughts? So you're saying it's like an auction? Yeah, I would actually like to do that. Like at least one league where it's in.
So does that mean no trading draft picks? You got to trade money.
Yeah, essentially, I would assume you're able to trade your. I assume your fab is different from your rookie draft money, right? But yeah, everyone gets like the role saying everyone gets $200. There's no draft picks, so like literally the best team in the league could get Ashton Genty if they wanted to, right? So I kind of like the idea of an auction. I don't know. I'd have to research and think about the strategy
it's an auction. It's an auction draft. I get it.
Yeah, it's an auction rookie draft. So, yeah. So I kind of like that idea. It would be fun to play in at least one league like that. Marvin says he utilizes fab in his leagues. It's easier than negotiating third-round picks, and owners don't take it seriously. Yeah, and fab, seems to make a difference. I mean, I always think about a couple years ago, guys like Kyron Williams were on the waiver wire. I mean, there's gonna be some decent players just because there's so many running backs. Not all of them are gonna go in the third round or fourth round like we hope. A lot of them are gonna go fifth, sixth round, and for that reason, they might not get drafted. There's going to be a lot of running backs that I'm going to be using my fab on here. So did Torrey Horton go? He did not. So I'll go ahead and take Torrey Horton and just wrap this up. So yeah, I mean, definitely getting that extra fab. Also depends on how deep of a league you play in and stuff, but there's always going to be backup quarterbacks, QB3s that get their shot and stuff like that. But resets at the end of the season, we start with 100. I'm up to 159. Yeah, we do 1,000 in our listener leagues. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you do. 100, 1,000, it's all the same. You're just times everything by 10. 4 other teams didn't have a full 100. Yeah, which is a power play, right? Because you can say if there's one huge rookie, Isaiah Pacheco a couple of years ago was that guy where, especially if your league closes down waiver, the ability to make waiver moves until like preseason, there's always a couple guys that rise up and people spend all their money on and stuff like that. I think Pacheco was one of those in one of our leagues. So the role says he bought Tet for 75 and Ollie Gordon for 13. We draft before the NFL draft in this league. I think Tet for 75 is pretty good. That's a pretty good price there. I mean, you're talking about a guy who is probably going to be top 6 in this draft. I wonder, what did Genty go for? I imagine someone went all out and put 200 on Genty.
How much money did you get?
200. So I would imagine someone bet their entire budget on Genty.
I did a ESPN draft a few years back, an auction draft. And guys were throwing ridiculous money at the stars and stuff like that. So
yeah. Yoshiva, Cooper Rush, Calcaterra, Ty Johnson, Sincere McCormick are these roster cloggers. If you're going back to your league, Marvin, where it's a 14 team, how many starters again? I don't know if you let us know.
Yeah,
how many starters, but these are probably guys you can cut to make room for rookies, and I probably would. Ty Johnson, I would for sure. I mean, he has his role in Buffalo, and they like him with that.
I wouldn't cut Cooper Rush.
Yeah, was he on the Ravens now?
He's on the Ravens. So, but we've seen.
Yeah, Well, he's the
See
backup.
Lamar
for the
get
Ravens.
hurt.
Yeah, I'd be keeping Cooper Rush, because he's the RB or QB2 for the Ravens. I don't think they
Yeah.
have. Oh yeah, they have one other guy. So yeah, I'd be keeping Cooper Rush for now. So it's a start 8. So yeah, I mean most of these guys are going to be roster cloggers, but Calcaterra is probably a roster clogger. Yoshi Voss, I would say as well. Sincere McCormick and Cooper Rush are the two that I'd be holding on to if I can. And I'd probably lead Cooper Rush. But I mean, you just look at the Raiders depth chart. I know they brought in Mostert, but it's like I think McCormick is their number 2 right now. Yeah, it's Mostert, McCormick, Zamir White, and Dylan Laube. So Laube from the rookie last year. So there's a good chance he's the RB2 right now, and very good chance he's the RB3, even if they draft a guy like Genti or something. So I'd probably be cutting Yoshi Voss, Ty Johnson, and Calcaterra, and then if I can, keeping Rush and McCormick. So silly to think Yoshi Voss converts to tight end. I just don't know if he's gonna they already have basically a wide receiver at the tight end position in Mike Gesicki.
Who's wide receiver 3 on Cincinnati? What's the guy's name?
Well, it's Yoshi Voss. I mean, it was last year.
Well, I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's Yoshi Voss, Jermaine Burton if he comes around.
Yeah, that's the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah, he's kind of a knucklehead last year. Watch out for Isaiah Williams. But I don't know if he moves to tight end just because they already have a wide receiver at the tight end position in Gesicki.
He's got to be able to block, man.
So, yeah, he's 210 pounds. He's not big enough to be a tight end. No, that's not.
You got to be 230, 240 minimum.
Yeah. I mean, even Gesicki's 245 or something. Yeah. So I want to have extra roster spots to move freely. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, if you have to cut those guys, I don't mind it. But yeah, those are the two that I would potentially hold on to. Ted McMillan is giving me Mike Williams vibes. Okay. I see Cortland Sutton when I see Ted McMillan. I see a guy who obviously, because of the size, we think he is, an outside X contested catch kind of guy, kind of like a Mike Williams was, right? And I do think he can play that role, but I think he has a little bit more versatility to his game personally. When you watch him play, Ted McMillan, he wins a lot over the middle of the field. And not necessarily, the outside X type of routes that you think of, go routes and comeback routes and stuff like that. So, out routes, he wins a lot on slants and in breaking routes and stuff. So I kind of see a Cortland Sutton a little bit. He actually did his numbers from the slot, his yards per route run numbers. For Ted from the slot, he didn't play a lot in the slot at all, but when he did, he was really damn good. So I think he can be a pretty versatile player. So I think there's definitely I've kind of gone back and forth on Ted. I've definitely come back to I'm pretty comfortable with him being my wide receiver 1 just because of the upside for him. So Genti went for $160. Okay, I thought Genti would have gone for the whole 200, but I know there's a lot of, this draft is at least 12 to 15 players deep that people are excited about. Yeah, Cincinnati should use either that or they draft someone, but I think they're fine if they went into the season with Chase, Higgins, Yoshi Voss as their 3. And then, obviously Mike Gesicki is more of their wide receiver 3. Mike Gesicki is basically, he's taking those Tyler Boyd type of targets and stuff. And then you hope guys like Jermaine Burton, Charlie Jones, who was a draft pick for them, a 4th-round pick, I believe, a couple years ago. Yeah, and then there's a guy, then there's a guy, Isaiah Williams. He was on the Lions for a bit. And then they cut him, and he's an interesting, he's an undrafted guy out of Illinois, last year, and he could maybe fill at the slot position. But yeah, I think they're pretty set. They'll probably draft someone, but I think out of those three guys, I think they would expect to get wide receiver 4 and 5 from those guys. Kind of like when the Cowboys elevated Tolbert. Yeah, Mike will unlock when he got Mike will unlocked when he got Herbert. Tet needs to field general. Yeah, we'll see. I think Mike Williams is like plan B for the Chargers. Like they desperately needed that outside X player. You had Ladd McConkey, who works over the middle of the field. Quentin Johnston, who should be a guy that he's the movable piece, moving everywhere. Give him wide receiver screens, easy routes, get the ball in his hand. You need someone to play on the outside, winning on the outside routes. They didn't really have that last year. I think they wanted it with DJ Shark, but he never really panned out. So I think Mike Williams is that.
He was hurt the whole friggin' year, just about most of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think Mike Williams is that. He's if they don't find anyone, I think they're not just going to be like, no, we have our X receiver. Like if they like someone in the second round, like a Trey Harris or something, they'll go ahead and take them. But yeah. You can answer this one. How do you feel about Trey Lance being paid? Trey Lance getting paid as the Chargers backup.
I don't know. I don't get it. Harbaugh thinks different than everybody else, so slightly. So are they going to come up and say, "Well, we'll do a package of plays"? I hate that. That doesn't work. I'm sorry, that's not going to work for Hunter. He's a cornerback, and we'll give him a package of plays and stuff like that. And
maybe QB sneaks.
Yeah, I guess so. $10 million quarterback sneak?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of being a top draft pick, right? You just keep getting paid even if you suck. I mean, he's not even guaranteed to be the backup. Taylor Heineke's there. So
yeah.
You do have to remember Greg Roman was offensive coordinator of the 49ers, and who was the guy there? It was Colin Kaepernick. And he went to the Bills, and it was Tyrod Taylor. And Tyrod Taylor had a good year under Greg Roman. And then it was the Ravens and Lamar the last several years. So he's saying, well, if something happens to Herbert, we can at the very least just run that offense that we ran in San Francisco, in Buffalo, in Baltimore, So he says, I own Herbert being for $10. Nah, I don't think I would even pay $10 a fab for Trey Lance at this point.
Yeah, I would. I'd rather have Taylor Heinicke.
Yeah. I mean, the Cowboys kind of told you everything when they were putting Cooper Rush out there over Trey Lance. So, yeah, I think he sucks too. And he's not even guaranteed the backup. You got Quinshon Judkins for $44. That's nice. Considering Gentry's $160. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. That was kind of. It's what?
Like he lost to the Bears with a loaded squad. It was a rain game, but
that was Trey Lance with the Niners when he
okay.
started the season as their guy, and then Jimmy G or Purdy or whatever the hell happened that year.
Yeah, geez.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Lance is he never even played really in college either. He's kind of like an Anthony Richardson, where like he just didn't even play in college.
Wasn't he out of that? So, he was out of that North Dakota State, wasn't he?
Yep. Yeah, but he went a while because remember that was like COVID and like I don't know, it was just like a weird like, oh yeah, he's played like 10 games since high school or something.
You know, the 49ers, they should have got filleted, man. They gave up a lot of draft capital but they win. I mean, they were winning.
And Purdy saved them.
Yeah.
Did you hear the report? And I'm just saying, I've been saying this for like a year now. I read a report. I forget who it was, but someone, I think it was on like Pro Football Talk or PFN or something. It was just like a lot of people don't think Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback. He shouldn't get 50 million a year. And, look at the 49ers. They had a bunch of injuries and they win 6 games. That tells you all you need to know about Purdy and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, just remember, I said, I'm not 100% convinced that the Niners are going to shell out 50 million a year for Brock Purdy. So just not
you go somewhere
convinced.
else. Well, we'll see. You could see a team like the 49ers. I think we'll draft Milroe or Kyle McCord.
Shador.
Well, yeah, if they want to go that early.
Shador would be good in that offense.
Who's really sucking? Like the Steelers only have like 4 draft picks, man.
Yeah, Steelers are in trouble.
They need, they're kind of tilting on the edge of going over the cliff a little bit,
I mean, you just look at your quarterback is Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. Your running backs are Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. Like, I think Warren could be good, but, that's a bit of a stretch. Then you have Metcalf and Pickens. You have a couple like Maseratis in there, and then who do you have at quarterback? Like it's just, I don't know. It's a little sketchy there. So Niners should have drafted Fields. Yeah. Mac Jones, man, I'm telling you, go pick up Mac Jones. Mac Jones and Zach Wilson are 2.
Mac Jones is already. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, he's on the.
He's on the Niners. I'm saying
Dynasty. It's all full circle that he ended up there, kind of. You know?
Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna head out. We're gonna take off, and appreciate everyone. We'll be live again tomorrow, same time. Hopefully, we get a few more people, and then we'll be live again, of course, after the first round of the NFL draft. So, appreciate everyone, and we will see you all tomorrow evening.